Massive waves, cargo ships crossing the ocean at dawn, slow cinematic music, people boarding flights in Sydney, passport control screens, airplanes landing in Auckland. Well, you don't know, but there is a border in the Pacific, crossed by millions and millions of people, with almost no barriers at all. No complex visa systems at all. No years-long immigration process at all. No endless bureaucracy at all. This has been like this for decades. Well, it appears very good to be true, but it is true. Citizens of two nations have lived, worked, studied, and built their lives for decades on either side of Tasman Sea. An invisible corridor connecting two countries thousands of kilometers from the rest of the world. A system built on trust, on history, and on idea few nations would ever dare to attempt. This is the story of the Free Movement Agreement between Australia and New Zealand. Two nations, one connection. British ships, colonial settlements, old maps of Oceania, black and white footage from the early 20th century. Australia and New Zealand were shaped by similar forces. Both emerged from the British Empire. Both developed parliamentary democracies inspired by Westminster. Both fought alongside Britain. And despite the ocean between them, their societies evolved in remarkably similar ways. English-speaking, economically interconnected, culturally familiar. Over time, their relationship became something deeper than diplomacy. Not merely allies, but neighbors, with an unusual level of mutual trust. Modern airport footage, families reuniting, workers arriving with luggage, young students walking through university campuses. In 1973, Australia and New Zealand formalized a unique arrangement, the Trans-Tasman Travel Arrangement. A system so open that many travelers barely realize they are crossing an international border at all. Under this agreement, citizens from each country can enter the other without applying for a traditional visa beforehand. Australians can move to New Zealand. New Zealanders can move to Australia to live, to work, to study, and often to start entirely new lives. For many people, the Tasman Sea became less of a frontier and more a bridge. Busy streets in Melbourne, tech offices, construction sites, hospitals, universities, New Zealand landscapes, agriculture, tourism, ports, trades, rivers, and oceans. Most countries tightly control immigration. They fear pressure on jobs, housing, healthcare, and infrastructure. So, you might be asking yourself, but why did Australia and New Zealand choose a different path? Well, part of the answer is economic. Both countries depend heavily on mobility. Workers move there where opportunities emerge. Businesses recruit talent across borders. Students also cross the Tasman for education. Families spread across both nations, but another reason is psychological. Australians and New Zealanders often see each other, not as foreigners, but as people from a closely related society. Similar institutions, similar legal systems, similar cultural expectations, and above all, a belief that integration can function without threatening national identity. Political debates, immigration statistics, music becomes more tense. Well, over time, Australia became wealthier than New Zealand. Higher salaries, larger cities, and more opportunities. And this changed immigration patterns dramatically. Hundreds and thousands of New Zealanders moved to Australia, seeking better wages and larger economic opportunities. But as migration increased, political concerns followed. Questions about welfare access dominated the public debate. Permanent residency, citizenship rights, and who should benefit from social protections became subjects even more common in Australians' politician election debates. In 2001, Australia introduced restrictions on social benefits for many newly arrived New Zealand citizens. The border remained open, but the relationship had changed. The agreement survived, yet became more politically complicated. Around the world, few regions have achieved this level of free movement. The European Union created the Schengen Area. Britain and Ireland built the Common Travel Area. But in the Pacific, Australia and New Zealand created something different that would be smaller and simpler to manage, and remarkably resilient. For more than 50 years, their arrangement has survived economic crisis, political changes also impacted all these situations, and terrorism fears as well. We cannot forget to say that global instability is another important factor to explain all these things. Australians and New Zealanders have in mind that borders are not always walls. Sometimes they can become connections. In a world increasingly defined by division, the relationship between Australia and New Zealand offers a rare experiment. Two nations, two governments, two identities, and yet one of the most open international borders on Earth. An invisible frontier, held together not by force but by trust. An invisible frontier held together not by force, by trust. And perhaps that is what makes it so extraordinary. Well, I think I could give a lesson to you about how this agreement works. I hoped you liked this video. If you liked this video, subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.